Hello everybody, welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. I'm Matt and we're going to be talking about Absolute Batman issue 13 today by Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta and Frank Martin. Bruce's troubles in Gotham get even worse as Selina has returned to the city and has a bit of a bone to pick with Bruce. Snyder treats us to some more fantastic flashback stuff that he's been doing in the last couple of issues with Bruce and Selina, this time in the wake of their deal with Falcone, and they did indeed make a deal with Falcone. Selina is surprised that Bruce had it in him to cut the deal, but he stoically knows that the rules aren't fair, so they should not play by them. Selina knows that this is how they are going to win, as in the present, Catwoman takes down Alfred, finding that her and Bruce now have matching sets of ears on their costumes. She reveals that she is there thanks to Martha calling her, but Bruce doesn't believe one thing she says. But it turns out Martha did indeed call Selina for help since Bruce was gone for months, and she of course came to help out their friends, citing how Bruce doesn't really have a superstar helper in that of Alfred. I quite like this little rivalry that Alfred and Selina have going on, as Alfred wakes up and knows of the Catwoman, citing some of her recent activities across the world, but Selina doesn't want anything to do with the old man, using her prehensile tail again to choke him out. Angered, Bruce demands that she leave, and I love the smash cut here since he tells her that she is going to be leaving, and then it cuts to both Bruce and Selina returning to Bruce's place and spending the night together. I guess kind of confirming that not everything is done between them and they are still fighting those feelings that are bubbling up under the surface. In the morning, Selina finally sees the scars that covers Bruce's back, left over from his stay with Bane in Arkham, but Bruce dodges the question explaining what they are, wanting to know what Selina is really back in town for. It's great seeing how, despite having this really deep connection with one another thanks to their past romantic entanglements and childhoods together, they are still completely guarded and have their emotional walls up as both of these characters, not wanting to actually talk about what they have become as adults and instead just deflect and want to talk about how Catwoman got her gear and how it looks like black masks, which it really actually does, and I'm glad that it's actually being brought up and actually, mentioned, because I imagine that is going to be a plot point somewhere in this book. Eventually, they decide to go out on a date as Batman and Catwoman, going to Amusement Mile where the Red Hood gang hide out. Batman explains that the gang is a hacker group whom he had a loose alliance with. They are soon confronted by the gang, who aren't too pleased with Batman telling them to stand down, since they don't take orders from him. They demand that he and Catwoman leave the area, but the heroes refuse to, wanting to talk with their leader. Like how we've gotten a lot of Batman's gadgets, we get to see some of Catwoman's gadgets this issue, and it's revealed along with having a P90 machine gun, her tail also connects to the gun like a large ammo belt, allowing her to open fire on the group without worrying about running out of ammo. It's a neat use of the tail beyond it being used as a melee weapon, which we've been seeing in the last couple of issues as well. Batman thinks that she's murdered the gang members as she's shooting them, but Selina reveals the gun actually fires tranquilizers, things that she calls the catnaps. During the battle, one of the gang members fires an RPG from the Ferris wheel, so Batman pushes Selina out of the way and charges the ride, overcome by the venom in his blood, which effectively gives him Hulk-like strength, as he is able to topple the Ferris wheel into the ocean. I said before, I think this is where it's all heading, with Bruce being able to use this venom to his advantage in some way, and in that regard kind of become the Batman that Gotham needs and the Batman that Bane wished to make. It's just not going to go the way Bane thought it would. I'd also like to note that it only showed up here, he was able to tap into it here because Catwoman was in trouble, so it's like his emotions for her dictated the powers coming out. And I wonder if there's something there, since Bruce, even in this issue, constantly talks about not needing help. He wants to do this on his own, and so far we've seen he does indeed need help. So I wonder if him embracing his emotions, his friends and family, and allowing them to be his support group will help properly regulate the venom power in him, and that's how he's able to access it. It would be a neat way as well. It kind of gives Batman almost kind of like a superpower in that regard. Bruce yells at Selina to get away as the Red Hood gang notice that he is one of those Arkham monsters. Selena tries to help him regulate the power, telling him just to calm himself down, and Bruce manages to, wanting the gang to stand down as he tells them about Arkham and Bane and how they almost broke him and how he wants to destroy them, but to do that needs their help. The gang call him an abomination as the leader finally steps forward, telling Batman that she wasn't sure about him, but they are listening now as he wants to burn Arkham. The leader of the Red Hood gang is revealed to be Harley Quinn, who introduces herself to the heroes and wants to know their plan. This reveal was actually a real shock to me since I didn't expect we'd ever get Harley either this soon or actually at all, because we obviously don't go through the usual Joker origin and Joker stuff, which is usually what Harley Quinn is born from, because she's usually tied very, very, very closely to Joker in almost all iterations. But I love this idea that she exists in this world without having that interaction with Joker, or at least I'm assuming she doesn't have an interaction with Joker. I really like that it's kind of making her her own character and not just turning her into female Joker like she usually becomes. I also like that it's taking things that would usually be Joker things like the Red Hood and repurposing it into a modern setting and making it all hers. You know, making the gang have all of the same hood. I like that it is literally a Red Hood, because the Red Hood gang, they call themselves that usually in like the Prime Universe, but they never really wear red hoods. Like the actual Red Hood character, he had that weird like pill-shaped helmet. It wasn't really a hood. So I like that finally the Red Hood gang are Red Hoods. I really can't wait to see more of Harley and what Scott has in store for her as an original character in this, and like what her background is in this. Is she a psychologist? Is she just a hacker person? So many cool ways you could take this character, and I can't wait to find out what they are. Back on Arkham, Dr. Arkham tells Bane that they can upgrade him even more, making it so that he is now at maximum infusion with the Venom compound. The Doctor compares Bane to a unicorn, but I love that since Bane is so well read and educated, he knows that that's not really a good thing, citing the very first description of a unicorn and how people thought it was a dumb mule with bitter meat. He assures the doctors that he'll finally have a replacement ready very soon and he'll finally be able to go home to his family. Dr. Arkham doesn't really believe that Batman will succumb to the Venom, but Bane knows that he has to, since he's given him everything he is needed, and soon Batman will just give in. Their talk is interrupted by a scientist who alerts them to the news, where Batman has hijacked the airwaves, telling Gotham that the city is under attack by its own leaders who sold off Gotham in a bid to line their own pockets. He knows that he tried to show them with Black Mask, and the mistake he made was relying on the networks to get the story out, but he won't do that anymore. He instead will just show the people himself, since he's going to drag one of these monsters into the light so they can finally see it. So I'm fairly certain Bruce taking over the news like this is kind of a bit of a callback to when Joker did it in the Batman 89 movie, where he just kind of appears on TV, the host tries to shut him up, and he takes over the entire screen, just like Joker did in that movie. Batman calls out Bane, telling him where to meet, the old veteran arena, and if Bane wins, Batman will go to Arkham and the people of the city will get to watch it all unfold. Back in the past at Veterans Arena, Bruce tells Wayland of the deal he made with Falcone and how he'll be able to go all the way till the 7th round bell before he is to take the fall, meaning they will get a lot of money and Wayland gets to go out with his dignity still intact. Wayland doesn't see it that way, saying that he hired Bruce not because of his skills, because he's a subpar boxer at best, but because he is his friend and he refuses to make deals with Falcone or Bibbo Babowski, since he wants to beat them there in the arena with someone who actually believes in him on his side. He thought that Bruce was that person, but it turns out he was wrong. Wayland fires Bruce as his trainer, telling him that he's not going to throw the match and he's going to win the entire bout in front of everyone. He kicks Bruce out of the arena since he's got a fight to get ready for, leaving Bruce to go home alone. Okay, so Bruce did indeed do what I thought he was going to do with the Falcone deal. I did think he was going to make a deal where they would benefit from it, but I didn't think he'd actually betray his friend's trust in the way he did, and I like what Scott is doing here with Bruce calling Bane out to the same arena Wayland fought Bibbo in, and it's also him trying to atone for his past mistake in going against Wayland. He wants to bring Wayland's dream to fruition and have these guys running Gotham brought out in public and beaten in front of everyone. I feel we're also going to see this Waylon-Bibbo fight as well, because Waylon does indeed have a gym in the present day, or he did. So did he end up falling in the 7th round and taking the money, or did he end up beating Bibowski and he just got like a massive payday? I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with Waylon, because I imagine there will be a solo sort of bottle episode issue about Waylon and his life, since it feels like we're building up to that once we finally get through all of this Bane stuff and have to deal with the Killer Croc in the room. Of course, doing all of this and Bruce trying to atone for what he did might be a little bit too late, because Waylon is obviously now a big dragon monster, but I like that Bruce is messy about his atonement. He's not perfect, or he doesn't get the do-over he probably hopes he could have done. He just has to do what he can with the situation he's given, and in that regard it makes him incredibly relatable and real. Back at the Batcave, Bruce and Selina discuss the arena and how they will be at a tactical disadvantage, but Bruce knows that it's isolated and run down, but that's the whole point. It's supposed to be just him and Bane until the last man is left standing. Selina wants him to promise not to use the venom in his blood, since it's not worth the pain and suffering that comes with it. Bruce knows what it does when he used it, as he used it against the Red Hoods and he could feel 50 steps ahead of them, and he needs to learn how to control that, since it's the only way he can win against Bane. Selina doesn't believe that, knowing that she has people who can help them, but Bruce doesn't think that she understands who or what Bane is, but he has seen him up close and personal and what he can do. This is going into what I was saying before about Bruce wanting to learn how to use the venom, and I reckon it's going to be his friends that'll be the sort of catalyst that allow him to do that. Like, him having that support network will help, ease him a little bit, and that will help regulate the venom a little bit more, I think. Selina is well aware of what Bane is capable of, having seen what happened to their friends in the hospital, but she doesn't want Bruce to do it like this. Bruce throws her own words back at her, citing how the rules aren't fair, so they won't play by the rules. Realizing Bruce might be too far gone, Selina decides to leave, hoping Bruce takes care of himself. Alfred soon returns with a giant metal box as he sets it up in the Batcave, and I love, again, just the snippy, snipey back and forth between Alfred and Selina. As I think he says, like, don't let the door hit you on the way out or something, just something so catty, pun intended, to Catwoman there. I just love their little relationship that Scott built over this issue. Bruce grabs the box and sets it outside, opening it up to reveal a lot of chopped up raw meat. As he leaves in the Bat truck, Alfred tells him that this is the part he was telling him about, the part where he's got to push through the tunnel and not stop, otherwise he'll be ground up into meat. He implores Bruce to let go of the man he was and stop being soft and weak and rise up as a monster, since in war there are no rules except winning. As Bruce heads off, the raw meat is taken by Killer Croc, who is taken living up in the sewer nearby the Batcave. Since Bruce is setting this all out as a type of atonement for what happened with Waylon, I have to assume that Croc is going to get involved in the Bane fight. Like, he'll be the third act, top of the rope save or something in that fight, and I can't wait to see that happen, because I love this Killer Croc. I love this version of Killer Croc. It's just so different than what we usually get with Waylon, and I can't wait for Scott Snyder to dive further into his backstory and to find out what makes him tick a little bit more. Absolute Batman issue 13 was filled with some great character reveals and revelations, but I think what it excelled at most was diving into the character of Bruce and what makes him tick. Bruce is at a turning point now in what he can become as Batman, thanks to what Bane has done to him, as well as what Alfred and Selina have done with him as well. And I'm thoroughly invested in the story Scott Snyder is telling about how Batman needs that support network and how it makes him that much stronger. He just needs to let it in. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.